Alrighty, we is live again. Trying to find that nice little sweet spot time where people would likely to tune in and hopefully throw money at me. So, and the kitty cat is here. There we go. Get off that white truck. What? Drooling cat. Settle down. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alrighty. A few things. One, I guess we block some of this light. Oh, shush. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, this is going to be a problem. There and there. That was good. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, there are a few items. Last Exozone. Gary went on with the thing about the Rendlesham incident. He never got back to me with his questions about Bentwaters and Woodbridge. It's like, hey, have a little insight here of what it was like out there. Okay. So I'm going to try and anticipate a few questions here. Okay. Now, Gary, again, I was there 85 to 87. So it was a few years after the incident, but it was, kind of local knowledge on the base, especially. And generally, most people consider it a bit of a joke. Okay. Okay, yeah, sure, radar UFO. And a lot of it was like, the colonel was not necessarily hushed up because he knows something. It was like, you can't have your deputy base commander running around talking about a UFO. It's not very good for business. Okay, it's like, sure, you saw a UFO, colonel. Okay, yeah, now sign here. Sign. Okay, yeah, now here you go. All right, have fun back in California. What? I'm doing you shit. So that's the thing of why he was suddenly ushered out, because it's not that he saw a thing or didn't see anything. It's like, we can't have this. Okay, he's looking like a crazy person. And something I learned looking into in the incident myself, I thought it was off Woodbridge. It was off Bentwaters. It was off Woodbridge at the back gate, which I took many times myself because. The only time it's RAF Bentwaters, RAF Woodbridge. It was like, at the time, 81st Tactical Fighter, largest fighter wing in the free world, spread over two bases. Bentwaters and Woodbridge are 7 miles apart. Now, there's some major roads connecting up. There's also a little more smaller, smallest road, less traveled, between the back gates of each base. Nice little drive. I took it quite a bit just to break things up. And probably just off the back road, that's where that happened. Yes. And as for the question of nuclear weapons, yes, I think I can confirm there were nuclear weapons out there at that base. Now, the anomaly thing is beyond any treaty thing, is that the A-10, and this is an A-10 base at the time, like 6 squadrons between the two bases. The A-10 cannot take nuclear weapons. Okay, it can't carry a nuclear bomb on there because the A-10 can't get out of the way fast enough. However, during wartime, Betwaters and Woodbridge would be mainly refueling and crash bases because they got the airfields as big as anything. They can handle anything. You can land anything short of a space shuttle. Yeah, the kitty's here. We're waiting for the vet clinic to open. I figured kill the time to make some money. Yeah. But yeah, they big. They had to big air shows out there during the time. Saw some good stuff out there. But yeah, and they were talking about there was a move to try and make Bentwaters into a new international airport, and you had the airfield for it, and you still got these big gigantic nuclear bomb-proof hangars. These things are massive, and they are massively built, and you can't just tear them down. they're still, I guarantee you, they're still out there. I got to figure out something useful. Maybe sound stages. Needs in the studio, and you still got this massive airfield out there, and you can land jumbo jets out there. But yeah, they had nukes out there because the thing is the ammo. I guess ammo dump but the ammo storage for these half-buried bunkers on the west side of the or east side of the base. Massive, just nothing but bunker to bunker, and some of them would have these little nuclear symbols in front of them. It's like, well, yeah, we know what's in there, don't we? We got nuclear bombs in there for like the planes that can handle nuclear bombs. So they come in and we'd load them up for this. We've got them on hand. But that's the big thing. Is that, it wasn't anything nefarious. It's like, of course we have nuclear bombs. This is a NATO base. We got the Soviet Union. It's just that away. So. That's another thing. When Chernobyl happened, technically we were downwind. A few thousand miles downwind, but still, it's like the way the jet stream is going. Yeah, it's blowing right over us. It's great. I just got here and I'm going to get irradiated. But let's see. But I remember when, not long after I got there, maybe about a year or so, somebody put out a book about the Rendlesham incident. And the big gig, it was a big seller amongst the guys because it's about the base. But nobody really took it seriously, especially when you're going through pictures in there. And I've yet to see this book anywhere. It's not the Left and East Gate or the West Gate, whatever it was. This is another book entirely. But they apparently have been fairly recent because from the time. Because they were citing these things, the stuff that was out there. Why have they got a missile launcher out there? Because there was, let's just say that the metal shop had some fun. And there's things in the book that looks like kind of a box type thing with looks like missiles on the side. And there was also looked like a tank. Well, the thing is, again, they would have little landmarks put up for they were talking in pilots, and then I go, where with it? No, see where we're the metal shop. Have fun with it. And so, and occasionally there was this. It was a chief master sergeant. There was. I wonder if it was for being the home of the largest tactical fighter wing in the free world, bar none. It really wasn't set up very well, at least when I was there. It was starting to get there by the time I left. But at the time, one of the current plate, get out of the way. Come on, clear. Thank you. Okay. And one of them was the Rod and Gun Club. It was basically, kind of a lodge type thing on the way out on the end, circling around the base. And there's this little place called the Rod and Gun Club. It was a place you can go out and shoot. And I think, maybe, and I got to shoot skeet. And that was pretty damn good. But they had a little bar thing with a jukebox. And the funniest thing is, and one, Tammy Wynette, Stand By Your Man, and the other side was DIVORCE. So, okay, that's a double. That's a pair in there. But it was some fun times out there. Must have been because I applied for an indefinite TD, rotation. which would, at the time would have been, return date in 1999. I was after an 80, send it back. Because I figured, I didn't think I'd had enough of England yet, and I would stick around, but they, and I figured if they had approved that, I would not have, I'd still be in England today. I would not have come back. Maybe back to visit to get my stuff, but beyond that, no. Hell, I might be working for the BBC now. But yeah, the attitude out there was that nobody took the bombs, but there was nothing unusual about it either. Okay? Bentwaters and Woodbridge during the war. I have gotten fond of, the meat pies of late. Trader Joe's has a real good line of pies. I don't know if I got the kidney, but I got the steak. But during World War II, Bentwaters and Woodbridge were both technically crash bases. This would be where the planes coming back that were shot up and could not make it to the regular base. They would, hopefully set down at Woodbridge, or if not, do a controlled crash. Where it's like at least you're in friendly territory. Get you home safe and maybe fix the plane. So you do get a lot of ghost stories out there. A lot of ask about having some figure come up to him asking for a light to turn around, and it's a pilot and he's carrying his head under his arm. Stuff like that. So yeah, you got a lot of spooky because a lot of planes, they made it and didn't quite, the crash was not quite. One of them was an orange cap. You're not even in jokes. I had to give them up. They're a little bitty kid, so they probably got done. There's crap in here. Now, there's one thing of the various kind of evictions and losses. There's one, I can't remember if I replaced it or not, but the Revell had a A10 model that had Bentwaters markings on it. And that was a big seller. I'm not sure how, I'm pretty sure it was a thing model back here. What are you doing? That was some of my snacking. I'm pretty sure the one I had in one of the little eviction purges where it's like you turn around and all your stuff's out there and people are going through it. So I think I lost that. But I think I may have replaced that by now. So. In one roommate I had talked about taking one of those models and putting a couple of SS rocket engines in there very nice. And they took it out, like part of it was then the injection charge in the top fired. Kind of brought the flight to an abrupt halt. I don't know the engine or the model got trashed with it. Now, one thing that was always kind of fun out there was when when it was time to kind of for pilots to start auditioning for the aggressor squadron stuff, which is basically the war games. Actually, where you'd have pilots go out to I think it's Nellis where they do this, and you'd have one side pretending to be Russians and one guy good guys, bad guys, and they go at it. And occasionally, they have a thing with A-10s going up against jets for a while. In fact, there was something that I was told about, when originally they started doing it, and they had the A-10 pilots try to take on these F-15s like they're flying F-15s. And they had to say, no, this is not the way we fly anyway. So obviously it's not going to work. No, let us do what we want. That's from Big Bang Theory. There's the entire cast. Or the entire cast at the time was shirtless. So, okay, fine. They successfully told the strategist to get stuck for a while, and then let the A-10 pilots fly the way they would fly normally, without somebody telling you don't do this and this. No. And so the F-15. Originally the F-15s were mopping the floor with the A-10s, of course. The A-10's a subsonic, ground attack plane, and the F-15 is an air superiority fighter. The A-10 pilots fly the way they want to, and the A-10s actually scored a few hits, because basically, the phone's going weird over here. Because again, the A-10 flies low and slow, and can turn on a dime. The F-15, on the other hand, it's it's great against other supersonic fighters, but all right. But it can't really turn very slowly. It's like turning radius is like a few good-sized counties, so especially if it's going full out. And so it's like the A-10. Whereas the A-10, it's like whoop. So yeah, you cannot stay on the tail of an A-10 for very long, unless the pilot was really not paying attention. In which case, it would get flamed. But it's like pity the poor pilot who has an A-10 get on his butt, because that 30mm cannon would make mincemeat of anything. It's the uranium, the depleted uranium shells. Because they had a 20mm cannon in it, which would do some damage. But when they put the 30mm in it, it's like tank. What tank? You'd see the tank and just hail it, and there's nothing left. They might find a hatch. There's other there's a heap of scrap metal. I was hearing a little story one time about you hear a few stories come back from guys who've gone over to Germany for exercises, and they come back, But a couple of A-10 pilots buzzing, going along low level, and one guy says, they think maybe you might want to pull a bit. Why? Look in your rearview mirrors, because jets in general, that rearview mirrors, I think, and it's like here, and up here, and he looked in, and there's dust coming up over the wing. Over the tail of the wing. He was maybe 20 feet off the ground. Okay, but also one thing about that 30mm cannon is you cannot lay on it and just ammunition, but also it's a big strain on the end. In fact, you will literally slow the plane down by laying on that cannon. Well, one guy didn't listen, and he laid on the cannon too heavy during the thing, and suddenly it's not working. And in the hangar, like, okay, fine, see what's going on here. They open the hatch, they get the thing, and the main gear falls out in like 3 pieces. He broke the damn gun. And they're in Germany. The parts they need are time to go get this gear. So this guy, and he was told repeatedly, don't lay on the gun like that. And so for the rest of the exercise, all he could do was carry bombs. His gun was inoperable. They called it the B-10. Just to be really snotty. No. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it, you. No. But you get stories like that from guys coming back and, I thought this one idiot, broke his plane. No. The A-10 is considered one of the best kept secrets in the Air Force. Because everyone's, I want to drive it. I want to do an Eagle driver. I want to do an F-15, F-16. Like, no, the A-10 drives good thing. Like, yeah, because you're actually flying. There's very little computer electronic thing going on. There's no autopilot in the plane, for one thing. Actually, the cat's not going to do something stupid. No. All right. You settle down. Come on, 9 o'clock. No, stop it. All right. Kay Mulgrew has been a bit of a political activist for a while now, even before she married that congressman. Like, probably wasn't married. And I also suspect that Times probably asked a few leading questions and got the response. They let it stir some up when she was just happy. But also, it's like she's not that. She's like 11 when the show premiered, so I doubt she watched it much as a kid. I don't know how big Star Trek was in Dubuque, but. Clarify your statements a bit and maybe talk this out, because you got a lot of very angry Star Trek fans right now. You might want to, rethink things a bit. Because I think it's not so much an interview, so much as more of a conversation. It's like, okay, let's look at this in the context of the times, Kate. Okay. One, it's like Roddenberry. He had some sexist tendencies, but I wouldn't call him misogynist. In fact, he seemed to have his predilection was for strong, intelligent women. He didn't. I don't think he really went for airheads or. His Majel was no pushover. I mean, he was horrible to her on many occasions, but she was one smart cookie. Okay, she didn't. My understanding is, she took a lot of crap from him. She also dished it out in equal measure. So. I think he got turned on by the challenge. He didn't want because like anybody can handle a cheerleader, He had the baby with the chess club. He got something. And again, by 1960s standards, you cannot evaluate what went on in 1964, 65 by 2019 standards. Partially because of Star Trek. I know she's she is she came up during the 70s when the women's and she still kind of got that attitude about it. It's still the patriarchy type thing when it really was an issue. Now it's not so much. It's being drummed up because people suddenly find themselves out of a job if they don't keep the outrage alive. And I don't think she's quite realized yet that the movement has been kind of co-opted by a bunch of nut jobs. Yeah, I know. Again, I think one of the interviews in one of the Trekkies movies. Maybe I'm wondering. She didn't quite get the distinction between Trekker and Trekkie. Because the Trekkies are kind of, Trekkers are coming along and the Trekkies are kind of passing around. No, it's not how it works, Kate. Other way around, actually. What's going to happen here? But that's why I like to sit down and have a conversation with her because bring up to speed of what it was like again and point out that a lot of these supposedly sexist female roles is like it was Grace Lee Whitney's idea for the mini skirts, okay, and Nichelle Nichols backed her up on it. They wanted to show off their legs, okay. They were dancers. They were proud of their legs, and it was part of sexual liberation. Hey, and remember, 66 mini skirts were not quite that big a deal in 66. It was a little later. They started kicking, so they were a little ahead of the curve. So it was not misogynist, Gene Roddenberry forcing the women into these revealing outfits. They wanted them because otherwise they would have been in the pants and turtlenecks that they had in the pilots. In the uniform. No. And that's also because Grace Lee Whitney was sexually assaulted by somebody in Star Trek. I'm pretty sure it was not Gene Roddenberry because she would not have come back to the show and later things if Roddenberry had nothing to do with it. Plus, Rake was not Roddenberry's style. Okay. Okay. Now, again, nobody knows who it was because she only... Jones, stop it. Because she only told, I think, Leonard Nimoy. Well, so that was the only two that knew, and the guy who did it, obviously. And neither of them, went up. But also, in fact, actually, she was actually asked directly one time, was it Roddenberry? No, it was not Gene Roddenberry. He flirted all the time with her, incessantly. And she threw it right back at him. But Roddenberry never did anything to her. Because another thing Roddenberry, I think, was also into willing subjects, okay? They had to be there, okay? I picked his mom back at the local McDonald's. Do some little cat-related speech. What? Oh, we got a little Captain Whammon thing. Get there. Put that in front of the fan again for a bit. I'll find my ear here. Alright. Alright. Yeah. I'm not going to fight your war. I'm going to end it. Alright. Alright. Okay. I don't know, it's a big drag about the weekends. They don't open till 10. Okay. Yeah, this last one here. Yep. Yeah. It's like, I know, but this whole thing about me being Iron, I'm not the heroic type, okay? It's not really in me, so, I am Iron Man. I didn't do that script. There's one nice thing. It's been cool enough at night. The cat has been pretty well behaved. I think when it starts getting warm, it's getting restless. Yeah. Oh Lord. But yeah, that's my recollection about Batwaters. If Gary, you want to come back on me some more specific? Okay. And one of them was tailing along with the guy who refilled the heating oil at various places because they don't have the ammo because they have to go out there and put in certain parts to keep this, things got to keep them warm. Let's go cool on this here. All right. Pardon the noise for a bit, guys. Because the cat's just stepping on them. Okay. By the way, if you feel inclined to go out to see what's left of Bentwaters, they have mostly redeveloped the area because they had very nice base housing out there. I was in the first sergeant of engineering squadron. There had friends, had a friend, a couple of engineering squadron. We were over his house one night, and they have very nice American style houses, and they have all been snatched up rather quickly. It was one of the. Okay, we are clearly having connection issues. I'm going to put. You want to do a follow up on your rental something? So. Okay. This guy gets a little stir crazy sometimes. Gosh. Ow. To the claws. I'm trying to extract it from this pipe. Feel more control now, little shit. That could have been there. Alright. Come here. Settle down. Did you go in the back? You're not getting the hot eating over there, okay? That's right here. Alright. Time it is about after 9. No, I would like to sit down with Kate Mulgrew though and talk this out. Two coming up in about a week, so it's like, yeah, you really want to go in there with this hanging over your head? Let's talk it out first. Let's do a little damage. So, okay, you want to hack? I'm gonna work up a Skype thing, but I think it would be in your best interest to try and smooth this out a bit, and maybe brought up the speed a bit of what reminder what TV was like in the 60s. And like Doomcock said, yes, Roddenberry was a skirt and a womanizer, ultimately true and ultimately irrelevant, because he was also pushing barriers like he was going out of style. By the way, NBC had no problem with was Roddenberry himself. That's the thing we need to probably put the thing, They did not object to a female second in command. They objected to Roddenberry casting his girlfriend in the part because they had memories of him during the lieutenant. And Major was hanging around all the time then. Okay? That's why when they hooked up was during the lieutenant. Jones, go with a shirt. Hey, knock it off. Oh, stop. Stop it. Hey, knock it off. Oh, you stop it. You better do that. Stop it. Get off. Weekends are always a little bit. Oh, cats. If you cannot deal with the cat clawing, you don't deserve a cat. An animal. If you own a cat, you're gonna get scratched. The cat's gonna scratch stuff. Live with it, okay? And it's not that hard to occasionally clip the cat's nails, okay? Especially most cats, it's like they're see-through. You can see where the quick is. Just get a pair of clippers. Be prepared for it to take a while, because they're generally not gonna like it. But you just gotta cradle them and take them on. Part of letting them know who's boss, and that it's not them. And I wouldn't be bleeding right now. There's also, there's an element of, just animal training in general, recognizing you do have an intelligent creature in front of you. And they do respond, you take them on, I mean, if you approach it, it's like this is a thinking, feeling creature. Approach it on that level, and they're generally a little better because when you do to take into account the feelings of the animal. You don't just beat them senseless because they don't behave. Figure out why they're not behaving, why what they don't want. You feeling better now? You was hostile? All right. Yeah, hello. The wife is showing up. All right. Hey, stop it. Stop it, you. Here. There's the cat. He's not happy. Stop it. Okay. Okay. Another fact of reality of life with a cat is pretty much just start considering cat hair as a form of dietary fiber because you're probably going to ingest more than a few strands during your time. Stop it. Stop it. I don't care about cheating now. Clear. Come on. There. Yes, that wind sound you ash blowing on the back of this thing. Yeah. Okay, so we have gone through some of our collections of Bentwaters, a little bit of my issues with Kate Mulgrew, and now I'd like to sit down and talk them through with her. Because up until now, she's been one of the more respected actors who have played captains, and now she's gone to dirt. Vegas, but it'd be best to have this before. Big reason. There you go. All right. You're out of the frame. Come on. There. All right. Let's see. Yep, still waiting for it about another half an hour. On the weekends, they're not quite so eager to show up early like Lauren is. Another cat's back in the back as her name is ground. Let's get a breeze on there. Keep it building up. All right. Questions, ask up here, guys. Come on. I can see it's more than just Stephanie watching this right now. So. And there comes the cat again. All right. Settle down there. Now, in other news, I'm still looking for a model Enterprise for that live, blindfolded live stream build. And I just got a few gems that are on the waiting list, but the thing is, they never quite stick around long enough when I have money to buy them. So. And I'm not going to shell for money for that. I'll do the e-blinking for stuff like for gas and food stuff. Stuff like that I'll do on my own when I get paid from other shows, like for Cafe Press or now with AOL or not AOL. Which, by the way, super chats are welcome at this point because that helps that cause. Because ad revenue itself is not enough there yet. Not enough viewers. $9.33. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, if they're really hit big, nice to stick in a hotel for a while. Get properly cleaned up. Give the cat more to run around. starting to love this book. You feeling a little better pampered now? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm seeing 2 people listening, so somebody's watching, not saying anything. So. And again, I'm also, for posterity's sake, because this is going to go on in the archive soon. So I already got, the Gary, if you have questions regarding Bentwater Bridge, I'm still waiting for those questions. Build your understanding of the Rendlesham incident a bit more, just bring in some context. And like I said, Kate Mulgrew, you feel inclined, I'm willing to talk. We can hash this out about just how sexist Star Trek really was. As I said before, it's like, a lot of these actresses. In fact, I wrote a homework assignment for Kate Mulgrew. Leslie Parrish is still around. Talk to her about what it was like to be on Star Trek. Yeah, she was in a flimsy little, Grecian gown made of almost nothing. But have her run, comparison between Lieutenant Palamas on Star Trek to any other part she was getting at that time. Because she was on the episode of The Wild Wild West, The Night the Wizard Shook the World. She was the girlfriend to Dr. Lovelace. And she was a bit of a ditz, okay? Grold and cranky, whatever. And I imagine because gorgeous woman at the time, high-pitched, scientific voice, So I imagine she was getting a lot of, again, her big claim to that point was what she was a Manchurian Candidate. I don't think she's any bombshell part in that thing. I think it was somebody's wife. And ideally suited to, perfect, but just put a little Southern twang on there, and yeah, there's Daisy May right there. But you look at the bombshell parts on Star Trek. You had Carolyn Palamas. She was an archaeologist, an anthropologist. She was a scientist. Dr. Helen Noel. She was a psychologist. Okay, she was and ask them what was it like working on Star Trek versus any other part you were getting during that time period, versus the wives, the girlfriends, the gangster malls, What was it like playing a scientist or some kind of professional, as opposed to just some ditzy airhead on Batman, This documentary called That Guy in That Thing, the guy who's in that thing, about character actors who's like you see them and everything, but you never know the names. All of them. At least this is back in the a while back. They wouldn't be saying that now with Discovery because it's a brain dead show, but back then. Jones! Damn you! You're lucky this is all canned goods, you little creep. Oh, God. But yeah, but all of them said that anytime they got to start, and none of them, no matter how many pounds of latex they put on top, it's got to be a good script. There's got to be some meaty stuff. So they all of them love doing a Star Trek. Yeah. Either DS9 or Voyager, Enterprise. But I meant back in the day, because you have a few people back in the day who wanted to do Star Trek because they knew they were going to get something interesting. It wasn't going to be another Western thing. Okay, there we go. I like comparing, say, what it's like working on Star Trek versus, say, the Wild Wild West, or Mission Impossible. What kind of part would you get there, But really, it's like the only woman I can think of who did a major guest spot on that show, who was born a typical female guest spot on a show, Sarek's wife, Spock's mother. That's as close as it got to a typical female role, typical 1960s female role. And yeah, Amanda Grayson was definitely not Margaret Anderson. Okay. But otherwise, it's like you've got a long list of officers, scientists, you know. I mean, Joan Wallace played, lawyer for God's sake, And let's see. Still don't have it open quite yet. There we go. 9:41. Let's go and get some air. Start that stuffy again. But again, it's like a lot of it, you got to look at the context of the times. And again, at the context of the times, Star Trek was very groundbreaking television. And NBC, to their credit, were looking for shows that would push barriers, that would, start advancing some things. They wanted, a multi-ethnic cast, strong female lead. Her tail's wet. Yeah, you're lucky you were pissing on a bag of canned goods and stuff. That better be just a can. If there's something in there, okay, I think we got pissed on it. That'd be very irritating. Yeah. Maybe. Only a cat can get this close and still manages to look past you sometimes. Shut up, you. Snap the power cord. Nothing's working with anyway because he keeps saying, it's not charging because it's too hot. Yep, there. Stop it. Stop it. All right. Yeah, okay. All right, well, his office, it seems he's buffering or whatever. I'm going to pull a pull on it for now, but stop it. For now, PayPal and Patreon links are in the channel description. For those watching this later, it'll be in just scroll down for the description. It'll be there. And in the meantime, I'll see if I can cook up something a little more polished. Or maybe even try it inside where it'll be a little more stable connection. And of course, the cat will... Come on, yeah. Clear. Yeah. And of course, the cat will be in the clinic, in air-conditioned comfort. In a nice spacious cage of the mattress and the litter box. We were so good. Cat's got a martyr complex. Stop it. Not in an actual sense like dogs can be. Cats are only domesticated in the sense that they learned how to put up with us in their own enlightened self-interest. And knowledge that, no, they really, this cat cannot take me. He maybe hurt me, but I would ultimately I could kill him with the switch. They know that. But they push it too hard that they're toast. Whereas larger cats, same mindset, but they also know I can take this guy. That's why you can put up with a little furball like this as opposed to a 600-pound African lion. Take the scrap.
Thank you.
So I think we'll wrap this up. Somebody should be getting in pretty soon to open up the door. So. Okay. And yes. And any questions, you can go ahead and put in the comments down below. So.